Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about an Aquarius chart signature in a natal chart. Now, most of you may know, some of you may not, but a chart signature is determined by taking what you have the majority of in an element, and then the majority of a quality, and equating it to a final signature. Now, if somebody, say, had the majority of their influences in air signs, and they had the majority of the influences as far as the quality between mutable, fixed, and cardinal, and they had it in fixed, air and fixed equals Aquarius. So anyway, what I use when I determine this, I take the 10 planets and the ascendant and the midheaven. So there's 12 that I look at in total. Now, if somebody has an Aquarius final or chart signature, this could indicate it's generally like a general kind of a tone or feel for the person's chart. It's a kind of I guess you could say it kind of just blends. You're taking the quality, and you're taking the element, and you're combining it. It kind of gives a general tone or flavor for that particular chart. And person that has this Aquarius chart or final signature can be somebody that could be progressive, that's innovative, even ingenious, may have a lot of good ideas, very progressive. Somebody that likes to do things in groups as opposed to by themselves. A person that can be very humanitarian, very selfless, the kind of person that would give his or her shirt off the back for somebody. Now, somebody that has an Aquarius final or chart signature in their natal horoscope can be someone that may feel they have that maybe a lack in terms of the attributes associated with the sign Aquarius. So even if the person had a strong preponderance of energies in Aquarius, this person, it may be looking to attain maybe these characteristics. Even maybe they need improvement. They feel they need improvement on it. Perhaps not so much that they necessarily do, but they may feel that they need to be more out in group situations, doing things perhaps in clubs, having more friends, perhaps doing things, being more humanitarian, being more progressive, willing to show his or her unique side more often, showing the innovative side of themselves. So if somebody, let's say, it's possible that somebody could have no planets in Aquarius, the ascendant and midheaven not in Aquarius, and to have an Aquarius chart or final signature. Now this could happen, let's say somebody had the majority of their planets, and including ascendant, midheaven, in air signs. They may have a number of these energies, say, in Libra and Gemini, and let's say they had a number of these energies in fixed signs, and they had a number of them, say, in Scorpio, Leo, and Taurus, but they didn't have any in Aquarius. Now, that would still equate to an Aquarius final signature, because you'd be taking the majority of elements would be air, and then the majority would be in fixed, and you combine them, and lo and behold, you have an Aquarius final signature. Now, an Aquarius final signature in this example could give somebody a little Aquarius, some characteristics perhaps and traits that they didn't realize they had before if they weren't cognizant of the final signature or chart signature and what it actually meant in a person's horoscope. Now, I see the chart signature is fairly important in a person's chart, but I don't think it overrides or supersedes the sun, moon, and ascendant, because I see those as very important proponents in one's chart, and I just don't see how it could really surpass that in terms of its influence. It may give a little bit of overall tone or flavoring to the person's natal chart, but I don't think it's more significant than those three. But that is just my opinion, and my opinion only. You might get divergence of opinions on that from different people you talk to regarding the final or chart signature. This could be, a lot of times I think if somebody has a chart signature and they don't have a lot of energy in that particular sign of their chart signature, it can kind of maybe impact the person in kind of a subtle way. Like, for instance, maybe the person, let's say they had the sun, moon, and ascendant in all feminine signs and all introverted signs, but this person that would have the Aquarius chart signature on top of that may be a little more likely to get out and go and do things in group settings and do things with friends, more kind of be that universal friend to others, be willing to go out and do things more, I guess you could say, maybe in clubs, in organizations, and be more active with things that involve other people. So this could be when somebody has a chart signature, like in this example I stated, it can impact the person at least somewhat, and it can blend in with their chart basically. Now, if somebody has a number, they have a strong majority, or even, like, say they had three or more influences in Aquarius, and they had it, and it was a dominant sign in their chart, and they had the Aquarius chart signature on top of that, well, that would, at least in my opinion, would simply reinforce and accentuate the Aquarius qualities and attributes for the person, and the person would get an even stronger influence of the sign Aquarius in his or her chart, because you would already have a number of the influences in Aquarius, and then the chart signature in Aquarius on top of that would even reinforce those characteristics even more in the person. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for an Aquarius chart signature in a natal horoscope. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about a Pisces final or chart signature in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.